高端访谈专访斯洛伐克总统彼得·佩列格里尼。
And I see the big changes which China achieved in the last decade and how complete other country I'm now visiting than it was probably 10 years ago. And I'm really impressed. So I see, under the leadership of the President Xi Jinping, you did a great job in China in the last years. Was the tension? It was amazing. I was really looking if there is a person behind or not, because it was well dressed, you know.
高端访谈，敬请收看。
关注国际焦点，洞察世界风云。大家好，欢迎来到本期的高端访谈，我是邹韵。今天我们要对话的嘉宾是斯洛伐克总统彼得·佩列格里尼，这是他就任总统后首次访华。从机器人打太极到无人驾驶汽车，中国的发展给他留下了怎样的印象？他对于深化两国战略伙伴关系有着怎样的愿景？又期待如何通过这次访问为两国关系的发展注入新的动力呢？今天我们一起在对话中寻找答案。Mr. President, it is such great pleasure to have you with us on Leaders Talk. Well, as the first state visit to China as the president of Slovakia, so you have described this trip as very crucial for our future. So what particularly made it so significant for you in terms of this trip?
Of course, it's for me, but also for Slovakia, a historical visit, because it is after 23 years, again, a visit of a president as a state visit to China. So it is very important for the relationships between Slovakia and China. And I've had the chance to visit China in 2015, 2017, once as a speaker of the parliament, once as a deputy prime minister. So I can really compare, and I see the big changes which China achieved in the last decade, and how complete other country I'm now visiting than it was probably 10 years ago. And I'm really impressed. And of course, this visit on the highest level and the great meeting with Mr. President and the topics which we were discussing, I think they prove that the relationships now between China and Slovakia are now on the highest level in our history. And I'm very happy for that and very thankful for that.
Mr. President, you just touched upon your meeting with President Xi yesterday. That was on Tuesday. And you have described the meeting in your social media network as inspiring and forward-looking. So which part of the meeting resonated with you the most, you believe?
I could feel the atmosphere during the meeting. And Mr. President was very open, very, very friendly, really discussed a lot of things in a very interesting way. And I'm really thankful that he mentioned some areas where we should focus in the future. First of all, to build on trust, of course, connection between people. Because first, for good relationships, you need to have trust. And then second, of course, to cooperate more in our trade and innovation, education, new technologies, transportation, logistics, and that kind of things.
Well, another important issue that was touched upon during your meeting with President Xi in 2024, the bilateral relation was elevated to strategic partnership.
Yeah.
So how do you interpret the deeper meaning of this milestone?
Of course, it was a very important step in 2024 when our Prime Minister Fico signed this agreement with President Xi Jinping. And now we can say that our relationships are really now at the highest level in this moment. I'm used to tell always, like, now we have to go from declarations to real solutions or real projects or concrete actions. Yeah, right. Exactly. And I think now is the right time. We are very happy that we can invite to Slovakia two big important companies, and other projects or other companies or other investments are in pipeline. I have to guarantee that Slovak government will be very constructive, very cooperative to really create such a conditions that also others will come and will invest in Slovakia. But other concrete steps I would like to mention is that shortly after my visit, Minister of Education will come with representatives of Slovak universities, because I believe And that was also mentioned by Mr. President, that we have to start with the young generation. That means, I think, exchange of students, maybe joint programs of our universities, Chinese and Slovaks, will increase the number of students which are coming to study at universities in China and amount of Chinese students coming to Slovakia, because also in these times of new technologies, I still believe that education and good education is the answer for this new era.
佩列格里尼的此次中国之行科技感拉满。在北京亦庄机器人大世界，他佩戴人工智能眼镜观看机器人跳舞、打太极，通过脑机接口操控模型车，与机器人同场投篮竞技，还试乘无人驾驶汽车，沉浸式感受科技带来的奇妙体验。
Excellent. Absolutely amazing. It's my first ride in this kind of car, of course.
Yeah.
Well, you know, very quiet. Wonderful.
As you mentioned, that you are a big fan of high technology, and also that's why digitalization has been a constant theme of your political career, especially since 2016, when you start serving as the Deputy Prime Minister. At that time, you put lots of emphasis in, for instance, electronic administration. So why do you believe that digital transformation is key for the development of Slovakia?
It's not just the case in Slovakia. We see it in all parts of the world, that we slowly transfer our lives or parts of our life from the physical world into the digital world. That means people start to demand that if they are able to buy something via internet, if they are able to order food, order a taxi, they would like to also deal with the state via internet. And they like not to visit anymore the state offices or governmental offices. They like to have this quality of life that they can do everything from their living room via internet, online.
Yes.
And this is very important. And of course, we are looking also on what is going on in China, because one thing is to think about some solution, but the crucial one is really implementation into the real life. So there, I think, is a huge potential between Slovakia and China to exchange their views, experiences, and so on.
Given your long-standing emphasis on digitalization and also the rapid progress of China's development in AI, robotics, etc., so how do you envision strengthening cooperation with China on those, let's say, cutting-edge frontiers, especially those areas, as you may know, are highlighted in the country's new 5-year plan?
I see tremendous change in China, and I split it, in my view, in two areas. One is hardware. Let's say I see incredible investments in infrastructure, new highways, bridges, railways, high-speed trains, and these kind of things. But then also software. That means implementing of new technology into daily life, implementing the 5-year plan or the long-term plan even, because this is something what I believe is the right way to have plans. Because I have to say that we did a mistake. After the Velvet Revolution, we stopped to plan things. We were missing long-term plans and strategies in our policy. And it is not good for the country. So we are already really watching and following the system of planning here. And also now we decided in the Slovakia, the Slovak government decided to create a new vision for Slovakia for 2040. So I hope that this will help us to reach our targets, to define our priorities for the decades, early implementation of the new technologies in different areas in our daily lives. So there I see the potential, because if I saw yesterday in the robot mall, you know, a lot of new things in healthcare.
And performing.
Yeah, in performing, you know, the humanoids and massages.
And you play basketball with
cleaning something, also basketball, yes, exactly.
Yes.
Dancing, you know.
And you even said one of the robot playing Tai Chi, you said it's like some human being.
I was really looking if there is a person behind or not, because it was well dressed, you know. Robots which were able to answer very concrete and very correct my answers. So there I see potential. The technology is there in China, and I think we have to find a way how to implement.
And we have some videos, just some highlights of your visit. Let's watch together just a few seconds.
Okay, it was better than me.
Oh, really? Oh, you're doing great. That's really cool, right?
Yeah. I had to focus myself.
Yes.
My
Control it
brain.
mentally.
Yeah, and that was creating some energy for the car or something like that, the speed.
That's the Tai Chi.
That was the Tai Chi. That was amazing. Today I had the chance to drive autonomous car. It's amazing, I have to say. It's such an experience, very comfortable, very quiet, electric car.
And a little bit of nervousness at the beginning?
At the beginning, because, normally I have always a driver in front of me. But after a few seconds, you feel that you are very safe. That maybe, and they explained me, the computer is maybe more focused on driving than the real driver. So in reality, it's a safe solution. And then that is again the chance to implement such solutions in our cities in Slovakia. So I think there is the big potential of our cooperation, your technologies, and our environment, and our readiness to implement new technologies there.
What impressed you most through those trips?
This is how far it is already. Because, before it is not used in a daily life in Slovakia or in other parts of the world. That really it's already somewhere way.
Yes.
And probably we could not see everything because the development is much more, behind that. So I think ahead of us, it's a real revolution. It will completely reshape our style of living in the future. So that's why it's for us very important to see in China what is going on, because it will show us what will be also our future in the next years.
And when high technology progress to a stage like era that you just depicted, we need regulation, of course, we need governance. And during your meeting with President Xi, you have expressed full support to the initiatives and also the vision proposed by President Xi during the World AI Conference that was not long ago in Shanghai. So what key principles do you think should guide the international governance of AI? And which part of President Xi's initiatives and visions resonate with you the most?
First, his very strong commitment to find a world regulatory framework or world governance of AI in such a way that it really serves to all people of the world. That it is not a privilege of rich countries, not a privilege of big high-tech companies, the first thing. The second, of course, it's security of it, because through this, we create complete new type of data. But now, people start to communicate with AI about their own feelings.
Everything.
Are looking for advice. So you can imagine which kind of data the providers have about concrete person.
Very personal.
Very personal. So security and to keep it like a trustful technology is very important. But then also, we have to bring the AI from the beginning, from the young generation to the old generation, in a way that it's improving their lives, not complicating their lives. And the most important thing is, once again, that they should not be one person or one government in the world which will decide that you can use it and I cannot use it. Your Mr. President, he had a speech at the AI summit, which was organized here in China, to avoid this, that the world will be, thanks to new technologies, again, unequal. I fully agree with Mr. President Xi Jinping that we must find a way how to regulate AI, that it is really serves the whole world, and also to the third countries and less developed countries. And of course, we see such an instability in the world. So we are looking on China, how China is reacting on this. And I have to say that we see China is not commenting immediately something, what is going on in the world. They react or they comment or they act only when it makes sense. So it's, I would say, how to say it, it's like a calm power, not hysteric actions, not big announcements, but very stable and calm and patient. Yes, exactly. And I think China can really play a key role by trying to reduce the tension in the whole world.
斯洛伐克是欧洲中部的内陆国，东临乌克兰，南接匈牙利，西连捷克、奥地利，北毗波兰。斯洛伐克是最早同新中国建交的国家之一，同时也是最早支持并积极参与共建“一带一路”的欧洲国家之一。百年变局下，中斯相向而行，携手并进。作为欧盟成员国，斯洛伐克倡导通过对话协商妥处分歧，推动欧中合作。
Well, President Pellegrini, during the meeting, President Xi also called on Slovakia to play a constructive role in promoting the steady and sound growth of China-EU relations. So how do you see the role of your country in advancing the cooperation between China and the EU?
Cooperation, I think, is the only recipe to solve this problem. And Slovakia will advocate for this kind of dialogue between the European Union and China. I'm following it very carefully that now there is a tension between China and European Union. My answer is, and the role of Slovakia should be in this way, and we discussed this with Mr. President, we should try to solve these problems or small tensions via dialogue, behind the table, not to start some isolation or confrontation, because only cooperation brings solutions or win-win situations and not confrontations. We have to avoid confrontations. In reality, we'll find a solution that there will be a win-win position for China and European Union. We presented Slovakia as a very safe island also for Chinese investment at the EU territory for the future, because there is trust, there is good environment for Chinese entrepreneurs there, and of course, combined with these high-level relations and very friendly relations with China, it makes a perfect combination to attract more Chinese investment to Slovakia.
And this is the first engagement with President Xi as the Slovak president. So how would you describe your impression of President Xi, and which aspect of his political philosophy impressed you the most?
I have to say it's a very experienced man, many, many years, one of the most powerful leaders of the world. And I also had the chance to follow his career, and also he presented a lot of his ideas in his books, which we have also in our library in the presidential palace.
Did you get a chance to read a little?
Yeah, a little bit, yes. And then what I was impressed was his attitude and his greeting from the beginning. It was really to show friendship. And this was also in a very good atmosphere and very good spirit during the meeting. And also we had again another hour to speak with him. So I could ask him questions about his view and opinion, what is going on in different parts of the world. And it was very, and I like to listen very carefully to wise men. And your president is such a wise man.
Well, Mr. President, this year also marks the 5th anniversary of the Global Development Initiative. And over the past around 5 years, it has attracted the participation of more than 130 countries, as well as international organizations. And also, of course, Slovakia is among them. So how do you interpret the significance of this initiative, together with some of the other major global initiatives proposed by President Xi in shaping global development and maintaining world peace?
I think the characteristic is exactly the two words what you mentioned at the end of your question: development and the world peace, and peace in the world. But there is an initiative, for example, where we started to be part a few years ago, and it's the initiative between China and Central and Eastern European countries, CEC, plus China.
Right.
I had the chance to be part of it, of the meetings at the beginning of this initiative, I think in the role of Deputy Prime Minister or Prime Minister of Slovakia. And Slovakia would like to be very much involved in that because, for example, when we speak about Belt and Roads, initiative.
Yes.
Slovakia, from the geographic point of view, is, I think, at the right position to be part of this part of this logistic network from China or eastern part of the world to the western part. I would like that Slovakia for the future will be part of this logistic network, and I really appreciate and support this kind of initiatives. In reality, I see these activities of Chinese president and China as to try to create again a group of countries or to connect again leaders, to speak about really development, peace, new possibilities, new areas of cooperation, to avoid maybe the other type of politics in this moment, which are looking more for conflicts, more confrontation and these kind of things. So I think it's very helpful, of course. Okay, there are different views on that. And many, I have to say, in European Union are afraid a little bit when they see China and they think, okay, maybe we should not cooperate too much with them. My position is always, and I will say it also very clearly in your television, in this debate, and I presented it to Mr. President Xi Jinping, that I really do not agree when somebody is telling that some technology should be not used because it's coming from China. I say, sorry guys, we have to make a specification of security and I don't know what everything, technical specification of technology. And doesn't matter from where technology is coming. If it is in compliance with these rules, the market should be open.
Mr. President, you are the first Slovak politician who have served as president, prime minister, and speaker of the parliament. And since the beginning of your political career, I think from the age, or at the age of 25, as a regional politician, your work has encompassed almost all the major institutions in the Slovak state. So how has this very comprehensive experience shaped your vision for the governance, for the development of your country?
Thank you for the question, because sometimes I'm forgetting that through which different positions I went already through my career. And I'm, in this moment, the only one politician in Slovakia who had the privilege to serve at the three highest positions.
That's right.
Speaker, Prime Minister, and President. I was working at the Ministry of Finance, Minister of Education, Deputy Prime Minister. What I see now, and I'm coming back maybe what I have said at the beginning, my vision for Slovakia is that we have to define real strategic priorities for the next 10, 15, 20 years. I see water protection, because we are rich on water resources. I think water, because of the climate change, will be the new oil in the next decades. So I think we should do maximum to keep as much possible reserves at our territory and to be rich on water. We have to deal with agriculture to be able and to be self-sufficient in producing high-quality products for our citizens. We have to keep our industrial base, because not each country of European Union is industrial, but in Slovakia we have still the knowledge, the skills, and we have to focus so much on healthcare and education, of course, and that we have to have this vision and that we have to make strategic decisions. But also, I have to how I should say it. You know, some tough decisions, even when it is unpopular. I think that's crucial, because I think it was Albert Einstein who have said, not each right decision is popular, and not each popular decision is the right one.
I like that.
So I would wish for myself, but also for the governments which will come after the elections, to have the power to make also very important decisions, which not always from the beginning looks very positive, but in the end, people will applaud. So I hope that we will understand that we cannot run a country from a day to another day, or from 1 year to another year, that we have to look beyond the horizon, and to define the bright future for Slovakia. And I will do my best to serve my country as I did in the last decades.
Mr. President, today is the last day of your 3-day state visit. What would be the one keyword that you use to characterize your China trip?
Maybe I would say that I am coming back impressed, and I will come back home and I will be very positive about the development which I have seen in China, and I will promote this in a very positive way, because really I was surprised when I combine 2015 and when I see Beijing
today,
2026, a clear city, green city, with great infrastructure, you know. So I see, under the leadership of the President Xi Jinping, you did a great job in China in the last years.
President Pellegrini, it was such a great pleasure talking to you, and many thanks for sharing this, your very insightful views. Greatly appreciated.
It was a great honor for me. Thank you very much.
"在专访当中，佩列格里尼总统表示，从10多年前初次到访中国，到今天亲眼见证中国在硬基建与软联通上的飞跃，这一过程极具借鉴意义。他还表示，斯洛伐克珍视同中国的战略伙伴关系，期待双方在经贸、人工智能、机器人等领域取得更多合作成果，更好造福两国人民。感谢您收看本期的高端访谈，我是邹韵，我们下期再会。